Hey guys, just a quick little message before this video starts. I wanted to ask you guys, if you're not going to watch anything but Warframe content on the channel, I'm going to politely ask you guys to unsubscribe. I know that sounds a little bit weird, but it's to do with how the YouTube algorithm works. If you are a subscriber and let's say you are not watching videos from the channel that you're subscribed to, or you're not, watching a lot of a video that a channel that you're subscribed to posts, then basically what happens, because you as a subscriber, you're not interested in that video, then YouTube is far less likely to push that video to people who are not subscribers. So it reaches a far smaller audience pretty much. So if you're not going to watch anything but Warframe content, if you're only here for Warframe, please unsubscribe, because this is it for Warframe content. There's going to be no more Warframe content on my channel. This is my last ever Warframe video. So you'd be doing me a massive favor. If you're only here for Warframe, please unsubscribe from the channel. I know that my numbers are going to dip. I 100% understand that, and I knew this going into this video, and I'm excited for you guys to listen to the video and hear my thoughts. But yeah, you'd be doing me a massive favor if you unsubscribe from the channel if you're only here for Warframe content. But anyway, enjoy the video, guys. I just want to start this video off by saying that this video isn't being made to spark any type of drama or anything like that. It's just to provide clarity to those interested as to why I am quitting Warframe, because I know some people follow me for my unique perspective on the game, and they may be interested in what is going through my mind whenever I decide to completely cut ties with everything Warframe and what it means for the future of the channel and stuff like that. So if you're here for drama, this isn't the video for you. If you're here to call me, like a clickbaiter or somebody who's just out there for clicks, just go ahead and click off the video now. You've got your attention from me. Great, awesome, bye-bye. But yeah, for those of you who are actually interested in my perspective, get your popcorn, get a drink and all that jazz, and yeah, get ready for story time with Flynn as to why I'm quitting Warframe. Alright, so to put this into context for people who may be new to the channel or new to Warframe, I started playing Warframe whenever it released on consoles, so that's about 5 or 6 years playing the game now, and I've been making content for the game for about 3 or 4 years. It's honestly been that long, I forget when I posted my first Warframe video. So that's an extreme amount of time, and burnout is pretty much inevitable. I've been through stages of burnout with Warframe before. The period of time that probably sticks out the most to me was whenever we were waiting for the War of In. With the War of In, I think we went for about 9 months without any substantial content drops, and it was really a pain in the ass to keep on making content for Warframe and to log on and enjoy the game every single day. Now, through this period of burnout, I didn't necessarily not log in every single day. Like, I still logged in for my login rewards if they were a thing back then, but any daily activity that I could do in Warframe back in the day, whenever we were waiting for the War of In, I still logged in and I still did it because the game was still enjoyable to me. I guess you could say way back whenever I was waiting for the War of In, I still forced myself to log in and create content and do live streams for the game or on the game specifically, simply because I could still see a future where I was a Warframe YouTuber, or I was a Warframe live streamer on Twitch, or I just enjoyed the content that DE were putting into Warframe. But as time went on, that attitude quickly shifted because of the type of content that we were getting from Digital Extremes. Like, my thought process way back then was that the upcoming updates for Warframe were going to match the same quality of that of the Second Dream, right? Because the Second Dream update was absolutely insane for its time. It was, you got the story quest, you got the new tile set, you got new mods, you got a new Warframe, new weapons, a new feature, you've got the extension to your ship and all that stuff. It was so cool way back whenever it first came out, and I thought that that was going to be sort of the standard for all upcoming Warframe updates. And I was like, wow, Warframe is really shifting the landscape of gaming, right? This is revolutionary, this is innovative, because this is all coming from a free-to-play dev, right? Updates after the Second Dream kind of let me down. I'm not saying that they were bad updates, but if I was to compare the likes of the War of In or the Sacrifice to the Second Dream, I would say that none of them quite matched the standard of the second dream. And I would say that was something that I was a little bit concerned about at the time, but I didn't really think much of it, and I didn't really voice my opinion on that matter because of a few reasons that I'll cover later on in this video. But I was a little bit worried about, how they were going to uphold the standard of the second dream. And it turns out I was right about that, because every update after the second dream, I feel like they left something to be desired. Like, you wanted something a little bit more, like you were saying, oh, I wish this was here, or I wish that was there, or I wish this wasn't a thing. Like, updates, they just seem to be a little bit less thought out and a little bit less, for the player, if that makes any sense. I'm maybe the only person that feels that way, but like, I kind of have a fundamental list in the back of my mind of things that would make a good Warframe update, and they're pretty much the things that I just listed that were in the second dream. Like a little bit of a lore entry, a little bit of an extension to some type of system in the game, new weapons, new Warframes, new mods, new tile sets. I don't think that's a big ask, especially with how big DE has become, because they are one of the best free-to-play games on the market right now. I don't think it's fair to say that just because the game is free doesn't mean we can't demand things from it and we can't criticize it and stuff like that. I heavily disagree with people who have that attitude towards the game, but I definitely think that there was a lot left that I wanted from a lot of the updates that came out after the second dream. And that's not to sound like any type of entitled gamer or anything like that, but like, whenever a Warframe update comes out, I want to be able to go to one of my friends and say, hey, do you want to play Warframe? Not just, hey, do you want to log into Warframe, see what's new, and then log off again, if that makes any sense. Because that's how Warframe has kind of panned out for me, and I think that's how Warframe will pan out for anybody who reaches a decent stage, right? If you got a Warframe and a weapon that you want to get, and maybe something that you see the DE market sort of spikes your interest a little bit, you might log in, you might buy a little platinum, and then you might get the thing that they released, you might go and level it, you might level up some weapons with it and do some stuff, and then you log off again and you'll wait for the next update, and then that's kind of the vicious cycle of Warframe. You're not really playing it, you're just logging on, seeing what's new, getting the new thing, and then logging back off again. You're not really playing anything, right? It's not like you're playing the second dream. It's not like you're playing the War of Vain. It's not like you're playing the sacrifice. You're just logging in, getting something, and then logging back off again. And you could argue that that is kind of the point of the game, right? It's like a grinding game, repetitive nature. You go in, you do stuff, you get the gear, and then you do other stuff with that gear. But there is little to nothing to do in Warframe with that gear that you get, right? So you can hit that wall as early as you want by saying you have nothing to do, right? So you can get one Warframe and one set of weapons that you like and say, oh, you hit a content wall, because there's nothing in Warframe for you to use that gear against apart from sorties. So I feel like every single update after the second dream disappointed me in some way, shape, or form. It left something to be desired, and that sounds like a pretty harsh or negative criticism, but I also think that it's a fair one as a player who's been around with Digital Extremes and Warframe for such a long time. I know that DE have the resources to put out like a quality update, right? Because I just listed and talked about an example of what I believe to be a good update. They can definitely do it. They can definitely bundle it all up into one package, but what I also feel like happens is DE makes like a list of things that they want to do to maybe like appeal to like a very, very niche community. Like, for example, there's a few gimmicky cosmetic things that they're adding into the game. Like, I believe the next one is like being able to play guitar or something like that. Things that I don't think should get in the way of like your main updates are definitely, I think, seeping into main update development time, or seeping into those main updates and taking up too much time, because like I don't think anybody really asked to play a guitar in Warframe. Maybe a few people did. Yes, it's a cool addition, and yeah, sure, whatever, cool. If it's in the game, it's in the game, and people will probably mess around with it, but like that could easily be something like an emote, but instead it's like a full-fledged feature of how to play the guitar, and that's not necessarily what Warframe players want. Warframe players want to play Warframe. Warframe players don't want to play Guitar Hero in Warframe, you know what I mean? So like, it's cool that Warframe does their take on things, like Warframe does their take on open worlds, and Warframe does their take on space combat and stuff like that, but I don't really feel like that is, at its core Warframe. Like if I wanted to play space combat and I really wanted to play space combat, I would play something like Star Citizen, you know, that game that will never be out of development. Now, this might come as a shock to you, but I'm not the creative director of the game, right? So I'm in no position to say what should or shouldn't be in the game, or what should and should not take up development time. I'm just trying to sort of relay what I'm thinking about whenever I think Warframe. I don't think about, you know, big open worlds. I don't think about space combat. I think about the grinding and the looting and the shooting and the min-maxing and the putting your gear to the test. You know, I think the best thing that we have in Warframe right now would definitely be Eidolons for that type of player. But the thing is, Eidolons kind of limit you to using one type of setup, using Chroma, using Trinity, using Harrow, using Vault, using Oberon, etc., etc. There's a few other cool things that you can do, like using Ivara and using a weapon that you can control for navigator ability. But, you know, other than that, there's not really much for a player like myself or a player like anybody in my community in particular. So yeah, it's just went into a super casual direction that I don't necessarily agree with. I feel like I'm echoing the content creator that I used to watch whenever I was getting into Warframe, called Calypso Gaming. He basically made a video saying that he doesn't like the direction that the game is going in, and then here I am saying the exact same. So yeah. That all being said, Warframe is still a great game. I just think that the way DE are sort of making content now, it kind of contradicts what Warframe was way back whenever I first played it. It was all about, yo, you can pick up any Warframe. You go, you get what you want. You can use that in any type of content. And yeah, some Warframes specialize in some areas, which, you know, they still kind of do. Like you can use Frost or Limbo in a defense mission and they'll do their things, but there's no real need to go above and beyond in this game anymore. There's no real reason to go out of your way to get something specific, because, you know, it's just made for very casual players now. And that's not a bad thing, because that's the demographic that I think that they're going for. So if you're a fan of Warframe for the casual nature of it, that's totally fine. But for a player like myself who got into this game because of the looting and the shooting aspect and the pushing your gear to its limits and all that stuff, and, you know, hoping for raids and good content coming out later for the min-max player, it just kind of turned into a waiting game where we weren't seeing the results, right? Like every update was like, okay, well, let's see if this thing does the trick. And it's, oh, that didn't do it. Well, I still have faith because it's DE. Let's see if this next thing does the trick. And oh, well, nope. So it just turned into this very long waiting game of getting our hopes up and then bye-bye. And you could say that that's our fault for having those expectations, but, you know, things are said on dev streams and stuff like that, and that gets people excited, and, you know, it's just marketing really, and a lot of people fall for it, even myself, people in my community, all that stuff, and we can't help it. We're human, right? That's how this stuff works. So not only was I being sort of let down by the developers every single update that came out, be that by my own hand, being a content creator on top of all of that soiled it even more, because I was forcing myself to log in and play the game. Like, you guys who aren't content creators for the game, you can walk away from Warframe and come back at your leisure, right? I can't do that because that was my income, you know, for maybe 2-3 years. I don't know how long I've been doing this. I completely forget. But on both YouTube and Twitch, the only reason that I was able to stream on Twitch for so long was because of my YouTube channel. So if it wasn't for the Warframe content on YouTube, I 110% could not do Warframe content on Twitch, because streaming in the Warframe Twitch directory, I honestly don't know how people call themselves full-time streamers, because you guys are making literally below minimum wage, apart from whenever a big update comes out, and that's like twice a year at this point, and that's if DE don't sponsor bigger streamers, or a bigger streamer isn't in the directory before you guys, who is also excited for the updates. So people who are trying to be full-time Warframe Twitch streamers, you guys are absolutely insane. Take it from me. I've been #1 in the Warframe Twitch directory, and don't take that as bragging. Take this as actual advice. If you're trying to become a full-time Warframe Twitch streamer, you're insane. Don't drop out of school. You know, stay in your job, do whatever. Become a Warframe YouTuber. 110%, I can recommend that, but becoming a Warframe Twitch streamer and calling that your full-time is absolute insanity. And take that from me, because you're going to be sitting there for 6 hours, then 8 hours, and then 12 hours, and it's just going to turn into this vicious cycle of you wanting to be constantly live to maximize viewership and subscriptions and all that jazz, and you're going to drive yourself insane with the amount that you play Warframe. And again, take this from me, I've lived that life. Don't go down the path of becoming a Warframe Twitch streamer. It is absolute insanity. If you want to be a Twitch streamer, by all means, do everything right. Set up your channel the appropriate way. Make panels, make fancy banners, make an offline screen, have good branding and all that stuff, and invest in the audio equipment and the streaming equipment and all that stuff. If you have the money to, get a job first, save up all the money because it's a hefty investment, and then take the plunge into just streaming on Twitch. Don't brand yourself as a Warframe only creator on Twitch, because you're basically killing your channel at that point, because people are only going to follow you for Warframe. It's going to inflate your viewership, and then whenever you jump over to another game, then they're going to be very, very low, and you're going to be like, where is everybody? And then you're going to stress yourself out because, you know, you're on this push to partnership or something, like be it Twitch partnership or whatever, and you're like, well, I need the viewers, so I'm just going to go back to Warframe, and then you're going to become more and more known with Warframe, and you're practically tying yourself to it, which is a very, very dumb idea. So like on Twitch, it's okay to have a home game, but I don't think that Warframe is a good home game to have, because I feel like every single Warframe creator is kind of destined to the same fate. You know, it's not like people are super understanding whenever you are taking a break from Warframe, which is why people like myself have to make posts and stuff explaining that we are going to be completely leaving Warframe and we don't want to play it anymore, because people don't understand why you would want to leave a free-to-play game with a lot of cool content, you know what I mean? Because it's free and you have new players coming into it every single day, so you have to make these posts and stuff like that to more or less completely distance yourself. So not only would you be bound to playing the same game every single stream, you would also be like bound to the same chat interactions every single stream as well. You'd get people coming into your chat and they would be like, yo, can I see the Saren build? Or you get a new player coming into your chat and asking a question that you answered like 15 minutes ago. You could be a streamer who is like really, really prepared for that and have like documents and stuff ready and commands and all that jazz, and have to explain like this is what it means in the document every single time that somebody like asks one of those questions. But is that really what streaming's about? I don't know. Like, you see all these other bigger streamers and they're just sitting there and they're having fun and just playing the game, honestly, while chat is just watching and reacting. That's what Twitch is meant to be like. Sure, the engagement between streamer and viewer is really, really good. And I took pride in that for a very long time. People came in my chat and they were like, you're so interactive. And I took that as a huge compliment, being somebody who was new to streaming over the past 2 or 3 years. And they were like, yeah, it's awesome. But you know, the more and more the same questions get asked and the more you have to repeat yourself, the more and more frustrating it gets. And it turns into like streaming as a service, right? You're not really an entertainer. You're more like a service to your viewers, constantly answering the same questions. And that could be because of the content that I've made here on YouTube, which I'm hoping to distance myself from. And that's the whole point in this sort of switch, to have fun with video games again, because I view Warframe right now more as a job rather than anything else. You know, whenever I'm playing Warframe, or whenever I'm reading anything Warframe related, or watching anything Warframe related, or just hearing or seeing Warframe in any way, shape, or form, I just say to myself, I would rather be doing something else. Covering Warframe and playing Warframe has become so mentally draining for me that I just want to completely disconnect myself from it. And it's not just the game to sort of blame. I don't really think it's necessarily the game. It's more or less my expectations for the game and the direction that I thought that it was going to go in. You can't blame the product for how I feel, really. Like the product can make you feel certain ways about the product itself, but you know, how I feel in terms of me being a Warframe player, streamer, YouTuber, whatever, it's not really the game to blame. It's my own expectations and stuff like that. But one thing that I did want to comment on, and I'm a little bit reluctant to talk about this simply because I don't know how people are going to interpret it, because people have always misinterpreted what I say in videos. I don't mean any harm by this, and I honestly 110% mean the best. But being part of the Warframe community has been very, very stressful for me. I entered into this game at a young age. I was, I think, 16 or 15 the first year of making my Warframe YouTube content. And, I made opinionated videos back then, and people took those out of context, like older people, older YouTubers and stuff like that. They took those out of context and they basically formed an opinion on me very, very early on, and made videos and stuff about me, which probably aren't even around anymore, to be completely honest with you. And they made comments and stuff like that were just pretty hurtful, that shaped the type of content creator that I have become for Warframe. All I ever wanted to do was help people get into this game and then share my opinion on what's currently happening with it, which for the most part, I think that I've done the best I can with how I feel about everything. But playing Warframe and being a YouTuber or Twitch streamer for it, it's made me feel more watched, and not in a good way, not like, oh yeah, I'm getting all the views way, more like I have to be very, very careful what I say. Like, I usually script any opinionated piece. Like, I made a video called The Current State of Warframe back in May. I scripted every single word of that video to make sure that I pissed off as low amount of people as possible, just because I find that there's a lot of people in the community, like big people in the community, who are very, very volatile. And big for Warframe standards isn't necessarily like, 200k subscribers, 300k subscribers, or anything like that, or big on Twitch or something like that. It's just for Warframe standards, people who are relevant. I noticed that they would watch my content, they would misinterpret it, they wouldn't even talk to me, and then they would make a piece of content about me in some way, shape, or form, and then, I'd be like, well, you didn't even talk to me about that, like we could have cleared up any misconceptions or anything like that, and just handle it like mature adults, and that still happens to this day. There's still people who make videos and stuff like that, and they're taking jabs at me and making posts about me and stuff like that. And there's also other people who get jealous at one another. Like, if I host somebody on Twitch, somebody will, say, well, he hosted you, or you're only getting this many views because he hosted you, or something like that. And then you have other creators who are like jumping into my DMs and trying to be all buddy, but then they're going to other creators and they're being rather mean. They're talking to creators that I talk to. And yeah, like, it's all Chinese whispers and shit talk, and it's a ridiculous environment, to be completely honest. And it's people within the Warframe partner program. I don't mean to give it a bad rep, because there's nothing wrong with the Warframe partner program in itself. I think it's a smart idea to get as many content creators in the community together to hopefully like form friendships or relationships to inspire good content. I think that is a great idea, and DE, for the most part, they do their best to handle it as well as they can, although there's a lot of people out there with strong opinions about it. I'm not going to jump into that, but it's just some of the people within the Warframe partner program that they completely soil the experience for a lot of people. And it's not the people that you would expect, to be completely honest. A lot of people choose to keep their mouth shut about opinions and topic regarding Warframe, because if they were to open their mouth, then people would just jump on them straight away, and it made for a very, very toxic environment. And I know that I'm not the only Warframe partner, or I'm not the only used to be Warframe partner that feels that way. There's a lot of Warframe partners that feel how I feel in regards to voicing their opinion and stuff like that. People just berating them with negativity and talking shit, and like, I don't know what the exact word would be, but just kind of like a tribal sort of mentality, like, oh, you said this thing, well, you can't be part of our group type of mentality. And I think that sucks. It's not very community friendly and stuff like that. And even though I'm ending my Warframe partnership, I'm still kind of on edge talking about this, because it's just had such a bad effect on me going into the whole YouTube thing, because it's made me a lot more reluctant to voice my actual opinions on matters regarding Warframe. Like, there's some opinionated pieces that I've always wanted to make for Warframe, but I just never made them because I feared other content creators taking my video out of context and then, making a hit piece on me or something like that. Like, I can't remember if I mentioned, but there was literally somebody who took a clip from my stream and then posted it on Reddit, like an out of context clip. And then, you know, people were like, well, wow, why did you say this? And they didn't clip the part after where I corrected myself or said something else after. And it was ridiculous. You can't find these things now because they've all been deleted, because people were like, oh, well, you know, that's not right. You know, people called them out on it. But, you know, that happened and it sucked, and it completely soiled my expectations going into the Warframe partner program and wanting to make relationships with other Warframe partners and stuff like that. So again, this isn't meant to be like a hit piece video or anything like that. I'm not trying to say go out and witch hunt these Warframe creators or anything like that and find out who did XYZ thing. I don't want you to do that, because I don't think that these people who did these things and said these things deserve the time of day, to be completely honest. But my advice to up-and-coming creators who are interested in becoming a Warframe YouTuber or a Warframe partner is don't become a Warframe partner. Instead, if you're trying to become a Warframe Twitch streamer or a Warframe YouTuber, just focus on your community. Don't focus on becoming a part of the Warframe partner community. Just focus on your own community. At the end of the day, the viewer is always what matters. The viewer and how you feel, how comfortable you are as a creator, that is what matters. So that's all I kind of have to say about that. I know that that section of the video probably came as a shock to the system for a lot of you guys. It's definitely not what I would expect going into a video like this, but that was something that I wanted to get off my chest for a while now. I'm the type of guy that just bottles things up, and I let it fester to the point that it affects me more than it affects other people. And I don't like talking about it that much, especially whenever it comes to something like public, you know. So I didn't want to make a big deal out of it, especially whenever I was sort of in the Warframe community, because I wanted to, you know, I wanted to be as friendly as possible with as many people as possible, because my intention coming into this whole Warframe YouTube thing and with every video that I posted was just to help someone in some way, shape, or form. Like, I never had bad intent. I never wanted, you know, people to be looked down upon or anything like that, or, you know, another person's guide or video or something to feel irrelevant, or a person on Twitch to feel irrelevant or something because I don't host them or something like that. These are just like all consequences of growing at the rate that I grew at. Like, people look at me as if I'm something super special within the Warframe community. I'm like, no, I'm just a guy that makes videos on the game and wants to help people. That's all that there is to it, and that's just being a genuine person. But apparently there is a cost to being a genuine person on the internet, where everybody wants to know you and everybody wants, you know, a piece of the pie, right? Which is a little bit frustrating, to be honest, because I just wanted to play the game and help people. But unfortunately, I couldn't have that. But that's really all I wanted to say in regards to that topic. But the TLDW, if you want to timestamp, I can't speak. If you want to timestamp this in the comments, is I don't like the direction that the game is going in. The game feels more like a job. It takes up a lot of my mental energy. It's mentally exhausting for me. And I just want to completely disconnect myself from the game entirely. This isn't a break. This is a complete cutoff. My Warframe partnership will be ending on September the 12th. You'll be able to get my glyph between now and September the 12th. All you have to do is go to the market, press redeem a code, type in iFlynn, and then that is pretty much it. That is the end of my Warframe journey. This is just something that has to be done, unfortunately. Like, if I could just make videos on a different game and then come back to Warframe whenever I wanted to, that would be cool, even though I don't want to at the minute. But YouTube rewards consistency, right? So you gotta end the chapter to move on to the next one, is how I like to think of this. So I'm not going to be completely ditching YouTube and Twitch. I'm still going to be doing that. Come September the 13th, I'm going to be covering Borderlands 3. I know that there's a lot of controversy surrounding that game with all the stuff that the publisher and all that jazz did. But honestly, I just want to play video games. Revenant from the Ashes, that's a game that I've been playing recently, and I absolutely love it. So you can probably expect to see content on that leading up to the launch of Borderlands 3. But yeah, from here on out, there will be absolutely no Warframe videos for a while. And no matter how much people beg in the comments section, it's not going to be happening, guys, because I need to do this for my own sake, for my own mental and physical health, and my Twitch channel and my YouTube channel and my community and stuff like that. This is the decision that I've been thinking about and thinking about and thinking about, and I finally made the jump, right? So that's it. No more Warframe content. We're going to move on. No more Warframe questions on Twitch streams. I'm not going to be answering them because I've made over 1,000 Warframe videos. And yeah, I don't know what else to say. Like, it's kind of sad because I've seen a lot of people whenever I made the post and they're like, "You're my favorite Warframe YouTuber," and they genuinely sparked an emotion, guys. They genuinely did, and I was a little bit upset. And I was like, "Oh, I don't know if I'm making the right decision." But then other people were like, "Yeah, you're making the right decision." So yeah, that's gonna be it, guys. Thank you guys for watching this video. Hopefully we can get back to making more genuine feeling content, like content that we can all enjoy, myself making it and you guys consuming it. And yeah, hopefully the atmosphere around the channel is a lot more better and not so monotone with just how to play blah 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 and how to play yada yada, because you know, you guys are sick of watching it, I'm sick of making it. So yeah, but anyway guys, thank you guys for watching this video. It feels good to actually act like a human being in a video for once and not a Warframe wiki. And if you guys want to see more gaming content from me, hit subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.